Thank you all for joining us tonight for our Comedy Bootcamp Bravo graduation. This is part of our spring semester graduation show. If you were looking for a yoga room or a cooking show, you're in the wrong Zoom room, so double check your link. Thank you all for coming. I am Tim White. I'm an ASAP staff representative. I'm the Hampton Roads area coordinator. Just a little bit more about ASAP. ASAP is a 501c3 nonprofit, and our mission is to connect veterans, family members, service members, and caregivers to arts programs. We have found that it is therapeutic. We are not therapy. We do not teach or practice art therapy, but we have found that engagement in these programs is therapeutic and hopefully potentially reduces veteran suicides and other negative outcomes. We're here tonight to celebrate this boot camp. They've been practicing and working for 6 weeks now, 6 long weeks. And we have a very dedicated group of instructors and mentors. I want to say thank you to them. I want to say thanks to Monica, Andy, Dave, and Robin. I'd like to go ahead and give them a round of applause right now. They have done an outstanding job of shepherding these new community members through this process. When you get done tonight, you might be thinking to yourself, they made that look easy. And I promise you, it's not. The only reason it looks easy is because of the hard work of these instructors and mentors and the hard work of these students. They have put in the time, and it is going to show. So you might be thinking to yourself, I want to do that. Well, we encourage you to go to www.asapasap.org and submit an application for Comedy Bootcamp. Or let's say comedy's not your thing. Maybe storytelling or improv or drawing or acting or even woodworking. Maybe that's your thing. Go to our website, check out the different courses and the different workshops that we have available, and you'll likely find something there that will be a good fit for you or your family members. So please go check out that website and apply. We're getting ready for our summer classes and in our fall classes, many of which will be in person by the fall. And we're always running workshops. So if you only have a Saturday and 3 hours, come join us for that. I think that about does it for me tonight. You're not here to listen to me ramble on. So I just want to say lastly, welcome to the community, you new comedians that are in this boot camp, and everybody else out there. Once again, thanks for coming, and we look forward to seeing you at future ASAP events and even ASAP courses. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Monica. Monica is herself a veteran and a very funny comedian. And I think this is about her 37th comedy boot camp that she's been involved with. It seems like that, doesn't it, Monica?
Yeah, no,
All right.
it does. I hadn't considered the number of them, but it's certainly a baker's dozen. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. I'm really excited to have our new comics showcase their talent tonight. They are very funny. We would not have them up if they weren't. We tend to tell all of them that they're funny, but this group in particular is really good. So I think ASAP usually says, laugh if it's funny, laugh if it's don't funny. I don't think that there's going to be a chance for you to stop laughing. They're hilarious. They've been a great group to work with. And the Zoom environment's very weird, right? Like, it's been a year of everybody being on Zoom. And I have found that I have gotten a little more narcissistic than I thought I was. Because I don't know how many of you are watching me and also in the gallery view, watching yourself. Like, maybe watching yourself. Right? And every once in a while, I'm like, oh, she's cute. Look at this. That's all right. And then sometimes I realize it's like a very slow motion view of getting my driver's license taken. Like, what is happening? And you can't react to that. Like, I want to know in business meetings if I still look good, but I won't know that in person. And this one time, I was watching these very edgy, hot, young LA comics, and I got to watch them practice for larger sets. They were great, super edgy, tattooed. bright red lipstick, gorgeous, young. And I got a look at myself out of the corner of my eye. I look like Mrs. Garrett's younger sister. Like if Mrs. Garrett doesn't translate for you, I look like every Disney villain who's about to send them to the orphanage. Good luck. Like I kept waiting to realize that I was going to have the spotlight put on me so I could discuss my deprogramming. Well, Elijah picked me up at the Menards because he thought I'd be good with cattle. Like it is the Zoom has been the bane and joy of my existence because I get to do things like this, but at the same time, it makes me think that I should put on my online profile way less culty in person. I can't wait, however, to bring up the next person because they are smart and witty. They are incredibly generous. They are very funny. Hailing from Williamsburg, Virginia, she's a lieutenant colonel who recently retired from the Army and is exhausted from taking stuff personally, especially herself. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Peggy Caggiolari.
Woo! Hey. Yay, thanks so much, Monica. And I want to thank you for having us tonight. Thanks so much. So a little about me. I'm a mom. I have 3 teenagers and I miss them so much when they were babies. When I was in the hot mom stage and I didn't have to look in the mirror and groan all the time. Oh, please. My kids, they have it so easy. I mean, when I was growing up with 10 brothers and sisters, doing like regular everyday things, sometimes it was even a little risky. Things like taking a shower. You know, you're in there taking the shower, you got a parade of people coming in to use the bathroom. And it's actually a little rhythm to knowing when to step away from the shower head at just the right time. It's kind of like a waltz. Tinkle, flush, scald, tinkle, flush, scald, tinkle, flush, scald. You really get used to it. It's not so bad. And traveling with all those people, you know, all those people, we had to ride in this big, long van, and there was kind of a priority for seating. Hey, younger kids, get on the floor. Now, kind of like Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airlines were a crappy blue van with bench seats and no seatbelts. So, you know, Spirit Airlines. So not all bad. I mean, what was really great was our parents knew that they couldn't drive everyone everywhere at the same time. So if you had a driver's license and last name Heatherman, I mean, you got a beat up VW Beetle. I mean, that was pretty great. So you get a clunker and you get a clunker and you get a clunker. Pretty awesome. So yes, my kids do have it easy. So easy, in fact, that my 15-year-old likes to use me as a human Google machine. So I get to do everything. Mom, I need a new moisturizer. Which one should I pick? Searching now for the top 3 moisturizers dermatologists recommend. I hate this job, but I really should care about this job because when Mia is 40, she's going to ask, Siri, what's the least expensive assisted living facility? So I'm a little scared for my middle kid, my 17-year-old, although technically there's nothing wrong with him. But he has no interest in friends, no interest in dating. So is he going to be alone for the rest of his life? Glimmer of hope, though. The other day I asked him, Charlie, any cute girls in school? And he says, yes, Mrs. Raffensperger. And I'm horrified. But for a second, I'm like, huh, is she the one who's widowed? I mean, hey, if it'll help him with his geometry grade, can't be too bad. So speaking of school, you know, it's kind of funny how I'm always trying to get my kids' teachers to lighten up on them. I get a list of complaints. So Mia stole the team mascot. Big deal. I mean, nobody likes that guy anyway. Well, my 18-year-old wants to save the planets. Many young people do. But what's kind of scary about having a teenager who's an activist? I never know when I'm going to screw up next. I mean, I'm hiding my trips to Chick-fil-A from my 18-year-old.
No.
Is it the chicken? Is it the politics? Mom, I found 152 styrofoam cups in your car. And so I find out you can return these cups to the restaurant and they'll turn them into park benches. So I don't know, 10,000 cups makes like one park bench. I could have 5 park benches by now. Park benches with little brass plates that say, Ollie's mom only hates the earth a little bit. But Mama loves nugget ice. Oh, I'll throw it back to Monica. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Oh, great job, Peggy. I'm so excited. We're going to keep the ball rolling with our next comic. She's a visual artist based in Rapid City, South Dakota. She's a dog mom and an Army combat veteran. Please welcome Amber Zora.
Thank you. I never wanted the military thing to be a defining part of my life. Like, I wanted a paycheck, not a whole personality. I was out the other day buying booze or whatever, and I handed my ID to this guy wearing a grunt style t-shirt, and he had that kind of former military look. And I could tell that he saw the veteran listing on my ID and was thinking the same question that everyone thinks when they meet a veteran woman. What position did you play on your battalion softball team? Between gulps of his Monster Energy drink, he asked me, where were you? What was your job? What years? And, at this point, I have a kind of script that auto plays. Oh, am I on speaker view? Should I? Does everybody see me?
Yeah, we
You're
can
fine.
see you. You're doing
You're fine. You're all right.
Okay, thanks.
Now you're gone.
Now you're gone.
At this point, I have a kind of script that auto plays. And after I come to, I could tell he wanted me to ask him about his military service, but I didn't because I'm just trying to get through the day, not relive my 20s. Talking about the military is also one of the most boring conversations. It's right up there with tattoos and David Foster Wallace. And unfortunately, I'm forced into these conversations all the time. On Tinder, at dive bars, divorce court. And guys, I almost joined the military is not a great pickup line. Anything you almost did is generally not worth mentioning, ever. Like, I almost met Jon Stewart once. It's not impressive. You hang out at any veteran nonprofit long enough, you eventually get to meet Jon Stewart. This question around military service also feels like when somebody asks me about a band and they want to talk about the band's whole discography, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was in the military, but I wasn't like a huge fan. Like, I don't even wear their t-shirts. As a woman, I feel like I'm stuck in this place of both trying to prove my military service, but not come off too strong. Like, I'm terrified if I park at a Lowe's veteran space that somebody's going to take issue with me. And at this point, I probably look the correct age to be a combat veteran, but I came back from Iraq 14 years ago. I had baby fat in my cheeks and thought E4 pay was the most I was ever going to make in my life. But then I started working for nonprofits, so it was mostly true. Speaking of nonprofits, I'm getting into comedy. Being a female veteran has become so confusing to me. I've actually started to question my own reality. Like, was I in the military for 8 years, or did I just dream that booze money in Iraq gets really cold at night? But, you know, I feel bad for these folks that really cling on to the glory days of their military service. Like, have you ever been on Tinder looking for a guy in his 30s and there's photos of him in his high school football uniform or old BDUs? Like, I live in South Dakota now, so this might just be a South Dakota thing, but I can only imagine these photos indicate the last time these guys looked anything close to their actual age. South Dakota 30 is not the same thing as a California 30. And these BDU images always look like they were taken with a disposable camera and sent to a dryer. I thought that you were a mushroom farmer, not the Bear Grylls of Kosovo. I've been like a woman my entire life, and it confuses the VA. I've received mail from the VA to Mr. Amber Marie Zora to schedule an annual PAP appointment. It's pretty jarring to have an organization that's in charge of my health not know some pretty basic things about what kind of care I need. The nurse at the VA was so flustered by me during a regular checkup. She said, "Oh dear, we don't have very many women in our rotation, so I forgot what questions I'm supposed to ask." I don't know. What questions do you think you should ask? You are a woman and you are a nurse. Between the two of us, we should be able to figure this out because I almost went to med school. Thank you so much, ASAP.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We're just going to keep everybody, like I told you, they're so good, right? Up to the stage, you're going to hear this as a theme. I'm going to be bringing another Army veteran to the stage. He's a student. He's been amazing. We're really excited to have him. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Michael Wagner.
Yeah. Thank you, Monica, for inviting me on. One of the first things they taught us in Armed Service Arts performance is never wear a shirt that's funnier than yourself. So I wore a white shirt that has nothing on it. I will say being an Army vet is very difficult, especially when you're at the airport. When they have the nice seats available, they like to give them to the prior service guys. Problem is you have to kind of fake it up a little bit to make it more legit. You know, you have to steal the old lady's cane to act like you have to walk with one, have an eye patch in your pocket, ready to go. And if that fails, I have my DD-214 tattooed on my shoulder. I was stationed at Fort Drum. I'm one of those guys that I hate the cold, and the Army decided to put me in one of the coldest bases. In fact, it was so cold, it snowed on my birthday every year. My birthday's in May. I will say, I think I got tricked a little bit on joining. My dad was in the National Guard, and he lived like Hollywood military movie almost. Like he worked with special forces, he worked with snipers, and he even got to hang out with Five Finger Death Punch in a combat zone. And so I thought it'd be a great idea to join. And then I discovered most people, we guard rocks, sticks, and snow. But it's not too bad. If you work hard enough, you can carry the 50 cal, which usually weighs about a small person. Sorry, my heart's beating 100 miles an hour. In fact, that's why I couldn't get in the airborne. The Army's loosening up a little bit on some of their regulations. In fact, they have a new shaving profile for religious reasons. I'm a Christian, which comes to my disadvantage in this because you can't sleep around. So my last 7 months, I didn't have to shave. One of the things that always confused me about the military is military traditions. We had this rock that we used to have details every week to make sure it was perfectly white, no patches, no nothing. And I never could figure out why. So I started asking and just went further and further. And I ended up talking to a general that used to work on the base many years ago. Turns out a private threw up on his shoes and the punishment was to paint the rock. And it's been a tradition since. Once again, I want to thank you all for showing up, and thank you, Monica. Have a good night.
Good job, Michael. We're going to bring up, oh, you guessed it, another Army veteran. As an Army veteran, I'm excited about this class. He has been a joy to have in class, and he is a super humble man. He just really loves making other people laugh, and I think you're going to enjoy everything about him. Please put your hands together for Robin Thomas.
Yay.
Woo!
Monica?
Yay.
Oh, wow. I know what you guys were probably thinking when you heard the name Robin, that you see some cute young lady stepping up here to give you the show. But for what you paid, all you get is this grizzly old veteran. Yeah, I mean, besides, my mother said I was cute. Yeah, and why could I have been named Ricky or Reggie or something, but instead Robin and Robin Xavier at that? Oh, let me tell you, as I was growing up, I had a hard time with the first name. People would mail me letters saying Miss Robin, Madam Robin, and it just made me feel bad. But sometimes it worked in my favor as I got older. Like when I was getting stationed to another unit, before I get there, they would pre-assign me to the women's barracks. And if I got there on the weekend, hey, they couldn't catch that mistake till Monday. So I never complained. So, man, it helped me out too when I got on my own. The bill collector would call and they say, "Hello, can I speak to Robin Thomas?" I go, "Okay, but let me ask you one question. How much does she owe you?" She left me with the lease, and I can't find her. If you can find her, send her my way. But if you can't, don't call me back. But that's not the name that really got me in trouble. The name that really got me in trouble was my middle name, Xavier. My first day in the Army, drill sergeants gave us a couple of cards to fill out. And the drill sergeants talk to you like you're stupid when you come in the Army. Like, "Okay, sons, I want to tell you one thing. Fill out these cards, but don't fill them out ahead of time. Let's go together. Everybody understand me?" "Yes, drill sergeant." "Okay. Go to the name that says, the block that says first name, put your first name in it, okay?" "Yes, drill sergeant." "Where it says last name, put your last name in it." "Yes, drill sergeant." "All right. Now, pay close attention. The next block is always what gets people in trouble. Where it says middle initial, please put your middle initial in there. If you don't have a middle initial, leave the spot blank. I don't want to see no X's this time." Uh-oh. So I filled in on both cards and I put this oversized periods on them so they could know it was an initial. Didn't work. 2 hours later, in comes this drill sergeant to our class of 200 new trainees. He says, "Oh, I knew it, drill. I knew we had one. We got one dumb one." And he filled it out on both cards. He said, "What is that?" I said, "His middle initial." He put an X in there. Then I knew it was me. He said, what's his name? And the guy in the back, the biggest drill sergeant we had, Drill Sergeant Valentine, he's 6'7", 280 pounds of pure meanness. He hated new trainees. He was like, let me at him, I'll kill him. I hate a dumb trainee. And they said, hold Valentine back now. He just got out of jail for killing the trainee last cycle. So I was frightened. I came down there and stood in front of him. He said, do you understand my instructions, son? Yes, Drill Sergeant. Then why did you put an X in there? Because it's my middle name, Drill Sergeant. You got an ID card? Yes, Drill Sergeant. Let me see it. I gave it to him. He looked at it and said, Xavier, hot damn, we got us a happy hooker. For those of you who don't know what that means, it's a title of a book by Xavier Hollander. Google it. Okay, and
Google it.
let me tell you about these two geniuses who blessed me with this name. My mother was a Jehovah's Witness. My father was a pimp without a car. He was known as the Metro Bus Mac Daddy. He never sneak up on nobody because he always had a pocket full of change. So. Yeah. And they had to figure out a way. The state had to figure out a way to make them productive in society. So they actually put them through a program. And ladies and gentlemen, they had to figure out how one could come to the door and knock. And didn't mind knocking. Didn't mind knocking no matter what time of the day it is or what day it was. The other one, once they got the door, people come in and talk you at your money. So ladies and gentlemen, I am very proud to say my parents are the biggest Amway distributors on the East Coast. My mother would come in the room and say, have you talked to Jesus today? And my father would come in and say, because you know Jesus sells Amway. Does it? Yes, he does. I got his receipt right here. Jesus Rodriguez. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Monica.
All right, guys.
Robin.
Oh, good job, Robin. So our next comic breaks the Army streak. He has been really a fabulous voice in class. We love him, even though he's Air Force. He's excited to make his debut tonight. He's been lazily writing jokes in journals for like 2 decades. Joining us live from New York City, please welcome Josh Rapp.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Wow. Thanks so much. Look at this big Brady Bunch full of happiness on my screen. People are smiling like it's 2019 or something. Still forgot what's going on outside? I've been sitting here on Zoom since last April. I don't. Congratulations, though. We made it. 2021. It's real exciting. Am I right?
Yep, you're right.
Okay, minus those couple of crazy people who must have been unconscious for the past year. It hasn't been that great. I don't know if you recall, but you remember when everyone was all hyped up over the new year because 2020 is coming to an end. Well, let me share a little secret with you. It's not over. Okay. If you don't believe me, just check out the Olympic calendar. Tokyo 2020. That don't even make sense to me because the Japanese are the most punctual people you will ever meet. Okay, I was stationed in Japan for 2 years and they were on time for everything, even when you didn't want them to be. They would just show up ready to tow your soup through right when parking meter expires. Yeah, I don't know. Tokyo 2020, that just seems rude. The one thing I do appreciate about these new times, though, are the number of people who took up new hobbies over the course of the lockdowns. People are learning how to paint and play the harpsichord and speak Icelandic, shit like that. So, for me, I was like, this might just be an opportunity to learn how to become like a regular adult, figure out all the stuff I should have figured out like 20 years ago. You know, like particularly when it comes to food, like in the kitchen, for example, you know, I'm not trying to cook a 5-course meal or even a 1-course meal, really. I just want to figure out how to turn on the stove or use a potato peeler or so, simple stuff. And honestly, I don't know anything about food at all. And it's not because I don't find it interesting. I'm just hella lazy. Like the other day, I went to the kitchen and I found this old box of linguine sitting around. And it's like, step 1, boil 8 ounces of water in a medium pot. Salt optional. And I'm like, I do not have time to learn how to do all that right now. I'm just eating this linguine uncooked, no salt. My lazy habits, they follow me to the grocery store too. Like I'll be in the pasta aisle, like which one of these will cause the least amount of damage to my gums if eaten raw? Let me give you a hint, it's vermicelli. For all you children at home who aspire to eat just like me, do not get bow tie. Dental insurance will not cover that kind of stupidity, okay? That one. Sure, you can imagine how healthy my dietary habits are, given my cooking skills. I'll just tell you right up front, it's not great. On a scale of 1 to 10, my diet is like a 32-ounce Oreo McFlurry. I know what you're thinking. They don't even make 32-ounce Oreo McFlurries. Well, they do if you work there. Tell you what, man, people talk about not getting paid well in the military. Try making $6 an hour, eating $12 an hour worth of ice cream and chicken nuggets. 2 tours to Iraq, but man, my tour of Mickey D's, that was so much more detrimental to my health. You know, some people will say, you know, like I eat like a child. Not me. I eat like a tiger shark. That's right, tiger shark. If you don't know anything about tiger sharks, so let me tell you, they are gluttonous creatures, really. They will eat anything. Tires, license plates, styrofoam cups from Chick-fil-A. Yeah, Peggy, you can still eat Chick-fil-A all you want. You know, just get your son a tiger shark for his birthday and cover up all the evidence. Tiger sharks. You know, their nickname is the garbage can of the sea. Kind of like me, except I'm the garbage can of the day after Easter sale at Walgreens. For real, that is my favorite day of the year. 50% off all the bunnies, and Cadbury eggs, and Peeps. It's amazing. I'll tell you what, if only eating sugar were a sport, an extra year to train, I'd definitely be bringing home gold from Tokyo 2020. All right, thanks everyone. Back to Monica.
All right.
Great job. Great job. That ends my portion of the show, but not the show in general. I am really excited to bring up my co-instructor. He's a good friend of mine. He is an Army veteran. He's a very funny man, and he is now in charge. Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Malecki.
Also being co-hosted, talk about the fun of Zoom shows by a couple dogs fighting outside of my apartment window right now. So apologize, I've got the mic, it's my show, dog. So doing, there's been some unique teaching how to do stand-up in a Zoom environment has been interesting. Doing everything in a Zoom environment's been interesting. I moved from Washington, D.C. to closer to home, to Indianapolis, Indiana, during the pandemic. I started a new job, completely remote. still freaks me out. I've been at this job for 9 months. I don't get it. Like I wake up, I make coffee, I go to work, and then I do laundry at work. Like I've got my work pajamas. I've got my work video games that I can play during team meetings. I've got my work gin. You know, like we've been pivoting to all these different things. The weirdest thing though is like I usually work at my desk here, but sometimes I go out to the couch and read reports or emails or something. Is that like a business trip? Can I expense it? Do I get reimbursed for mileage? I don't know. So I'm an Army veteran. Surprise, surprise. Like everybody tonight is, except for a couple people. Spent 14 years in the Army. 2 years I spent in Iraq as a Chinese linguist. Those 2 years my dear aunt refers to is that time that I moved to the Middle East. Totally unrelated note, I have depression. It's not like the crippling depression you hear people talk about, though. It's more like a sprained ankle depression. People are like, "I'll walk it off," or you need to hydrate. I've been dealing with this though since before 2020. It's not I was depressed before it was cool. But I'm also having issues with something called imposter syndrome. It's when you don't feel like you're qualified to be in like the position that you're in, except like with regards to my depression. Like I'm not down enough with my mental health to hang. Like I don't have the street cred of depression. So you guys aren't here to see me. You're here to see the people that I am here to introduce to you. We have an entire second half of the show, as Monica mentioned, and our next up, hailing from Florida, another Army vet, Steph Collada.
Hey everybody. Yes, I grew up in the South, and in the house that I grew up in, girls were expected to be sweet, innocent, and demure. And if you can't tell, that shit ain't me. As a kid, I was always getting in trouble for dirty fingernails, skin knees, and my aversion to the color pink. I just didn't want to be a pretty princess. And my mother didn't get that. So when school pictures came around, she got me the most uncomfortable outfit I ever felt in my life. It was so bad that whenever I would just think about it, I would come out and break out in hives. But back then I had a plan. I was 9 years old at the time, and I was armed with my grandmother's sewing scissors. So I cut out all that itchy taffeta, traded out those uncomfortable shoes with my comfortable sneakers, and I thought I pulled one over my mother. Until she got the pictures. Suddenly I had a target on my back, on my ass for a week, and I didn't know how she figured it out until she put the picture in a frame and put it on the wall, and I saw it as I was walking by. Not a regular portrait, you know, the ones with the shoulders up. This is me on a set of steps from my ratty sneakers all the way up to where the pretty princess bow was supposed to be. She still has that picture up in the house to this day as evidence that she will always have one on me. When I grew up, I had the unique experience of completing my Army career without children. It's pretty common for military people to complete their contract with a collection of divorces, children, or both. Since I outranked both of my ex-husbands, somehow I made it out without alimony. When you're childless, you start to notice the little things. People with children are always showing baby pictures, telling stories, and putting up crayon drawings. This always comes out unprovoked. And so I'll just ask a coworker, hey, did you finish the daily report yet? And I'll get a reply, no, I didn't get it to it yet. But this is my video. See my video of my baby finger painting with her toes. Then I looked at my bare workspace and I decided to make some artwork of my own. I put them up in my office and I was so proud of them until a coworker, Sergeant Sanders, asked me if a kid made those. I was not going to tell them that I drew them because he just compared my work to that of a child. So I lied, right? You know, I couldn't tell him I had a kid because that's just too easy. It's not easy to fake. So I told him I had a 9-year-old niece. Now that lie came back to bite me in the ass because Sergeant Sanders suggested I bring my niece to the next mandatory family fun day.
Oh no.
So now I have to follow through and somehow produce a child. Sure, I have the tools, but I can't produce a 9-year-old child in 2 weeks. So I started Googling how to obtain a little girl, and then I stopped. Because I was stopped because I was worried about accidentally walking to some kitchen with a camera crew and Chris Hansen from How to Catch a Predator. And I didn't think they would I didn't think they would let me keep my security clearance after that. Next, I started go through my list of friends that have a kid. And then I realized my friends are my coworkers. I have no life. So after I exhausted all possible options, I looked at my dog. I said, meh, I can make it work. If anyone asks, I'll just say my dog identifies as a 9-year-old niece. When I got there, I found out that Sergeant Sanders was away at some course. I couldn't believe that I didn't think of that first, especially since I'm the one that schedules people for military courses. But anyways, I was determined to have fun. So my niece and I made the best of it. On the way home, I was happy and content because I finally enjoyed myself at a mandatory family fun day until I was watching my dog tear up the dress I put her up in. Suddenly I realized I dressed up my dog as a pretty princess and I turned into my mother. Thank you guys, that's it.
All right, let's keep it going for staff. Thank you so much. Next up on our digital stage, a good friend of mine, broadcasting from up the street. It's about 500 miles up the street, but up the street nonetheless. Our very own Dave McCohen.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. Please keep it going for all the great comics tonight. So proud of all of our students. I am the diversity comic tonight. I was in the Army, but I was also in the Navy and the Air Force, so I check a lot of boxes. They pull me out when they need the Navy or Air Force up the place. I've actually served in 3 different branches of the military, and that most people, the first question they ask is why. I don't have an answer for you. The second question is how. How did you? And it's pretty easy. So I joined the Navy Reserve. I did 10 years as a jet engine mechanic. That was wonderful. I left. I went into the Army Guard to follow my dream of being a flight medic, and spent a wonderful year as a jet engine mechanic. Got out. I went to my Air Force recruiter and I said, listen, I want to be a flight medic, and don't give me any of your shenanigans and monkey shines. Because I've been doing this a long time. That's how we talked back then. And I'll never forget what he said. Show me on the doll where the army hurt you. And I did. It was mostly the knees. So I have served in the Navy, the Army, and now the Air Force. The good news is I've got my rewards card. So if I join the Marines, I get the Coast Guard for free. I'm not joining the Marines. Technically, I'm too old, but also, let's be honest, I'm not gung-ho enough to be a Marine. Don't get the wrong idea. I am an adequate amount of gung. I am jealous. There is one part of being a Marine that I'm jealous of, and that's the Marine Corps birthday. Marines love their birthday more than small children love their birthday. Which is strange to me, because you guys don't get a magician or a pony or anything. You get cake, so that's fun, but yeah. I did serve in Afghanistan, which we're leaving, hopefully, if we don't forget our keys this time. But it's there've been a lot of operations. We've been doing this a long time. So there's Operation Enduring Freedom, right? That's like the greatest hit of Afghanistan, right? That's like the Hotel California. But there's Operation Freedom's Sentinel, or as I like to call it, Operation Awkward Apostrophe. And this is true. The original name for Afghanistan, the combat operations in Afghanistan, was Operation Infinite Justice. And I think somebody at the Pentagon was like, "Ooh, little ixnay on the infinite A." That's they're not supposed to figure that out for like 10 or 12 years. So I have a proposal because it's confusing. So I think we should just lump everything together and call it Operation Enduring Operation. And that way in 20 years, when some precocious teenager is like, "This is dumb, this name is stupid, it's redundant, it doesn't tell me about anything, why we were there," and the history teacher can just go like, "No, you get it." We've talked about military, we've talked about family. I want to talk about the important issues, which is, of course, Star Wars. I watched episode 9 recently, which is a fun movie. So Emperor Palpatine, right? He's a clone, which means yeah, he's evil, he's manipulative, he's murdered people. But you got to say this about the guy: he has a tremendous body positive image. I'll explain. He's a clone, which means at any point he could have been like, "Yes, thank you for coming. About my clone, when you're doing your genetic manipulations, could you de-scrotum my face?" "Here's a picture of me when I graduated Sith Academy. Look how handsome I was. Just do that." "And listen, I know I'm a scary Sith Lord. No pressure, I'm just throwing this out there. 8-inch penis?" All right, always end on a dick joke. Sorry, that's the advanced boot camp class. Thanks everyone for coming. Thanks.
All right, David McGowan, everybody. That was a trip. Next up, also from the Army, bet you didn't think that was going to happen. Now lives in Salt Lake City, Utah. Our very own Lisa Duckworth.
Woo! Woo! So from the get-go, my timing has been a bit off. You see, I am the product of a summer teenage romance. I guess you could say that I'm the alternate ending to Greece if Sandy had gotten pregnant. My World War II veteran grandpa gave me a nickname, and I always thought it was so cute. Little Boo Boo, like a little Boo Boo bear. Not too long ago, I learned the whole nickname is Mary's Little Boo Boo. So my mom had a different nickname for me. I like it, and I still use it today. She called me her little ducky because yours truly was conceived at a duck pond. So when I started dating my husband, Specialist Duckworth, I at Colbert Pond. Another nickname I have is Bratsy Ratsy Macola. And well, I hate it. It's just plus, I'm not a military brat. That's my mom. But I guess you could say I'm just a brat in general. So then Subaru came out with the Brat. It was a little trucklet and had Brat written on the side. And so anytime my lovely teenage parents spotted one, they would yell, Bratsy Bash! Only punch me. Only punch me in the eye. It still hurts today. I get a lot of comments that I look young for my age, and I'm pretty sure it's due to my impressive stature, 5'1", that I still use my fingers to count. I think it's my tricycle. Yeah, nobody liked it when I was the pace setter. So as an adult, you could say that I'm kind of like that Subaru Brat, like a little trucklet. No matter how much I want, I'm never going to reach full truck status. So looking young does come in handy when I don't have a lot of money. Plus the Happy Meal toys are pretty cool. I'm still waiting for the going price of my McDonald's Beanie Babies to peak. That happens, you're going to want to catch my reality show. Ducky Duckworth, Little Boo Boo, Bratsy Ratsy Macola, Beanie Baby Billionaire. So the pandemic, well, it's been a pandemic. And lucky me, I got to experience an earthquake too. And you know what I thought? What a better time to do some things. So I finished my master's degree. Mostly asked for recognition, and thank you. I'm really proud of this accomplishment. I got a master's degree in management and leadership. Management and leadership. Oh, that could be a joke in itself. It was a pretty big deal, but due to the pandemic, there wasn't a graduation ceremony. But since it's Armed Forces Week and this is a graduation show, I'll begin my speech now. I think. So with student loans and a degree in hand, I reevaluated a lot of my life choices like a lot of us have. And I decided to make a change, a career change. I left the dark side to join the force. You know, like Air Force to Army. I now use my skills for good. I left human resources to work with veterans. I help veterans get jobs. It is so refreshing to no longer intentionally crush dreams. Another thing I did during the pandemic, I thought what better than to, dabble into some autoimmune diseases too. So as you get older, you get some checkups, and my doctor calls me after running some tests, and he tells me in his thick German accent, "You have the celiac disease." I'm like, what the heck is that? What does that mean? He then says, You must not eat the gluten. No more gluten for you. Do you know how much happiness is in gluten? Okay. Anyway, that's me, Ducky Duckworth, future Beanie Baby billionaire, the one who finished their master's degree and can't eat her damn graduation cake. Thank you.
Hey, Duckworth, everybody. Our next comic is we're all comedy boot camp graduates. She was a student in the first class that I mentored, and now she's a mentor herself. Please welcome up Robin Johnson.
Woo!
Yeah.
I love that false motivation. Y'all are Army, I can tell. Look at you make it, man. Oh, gosh. Can I get a round of applause for my class? I'm just saying they're really good. What? All right. Even after 26 years in the Army, this experience as a boot camp mentor has been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. But one of the things I wanted to do tonight is I want to share with you on your graduation day. Don't get upset when you go to your first live open mic and they only give you 3 minutes of stage time. It's okay. Trust me, I'm married and I happen to know that a lot can happen in 3 minutes. I have 2 kids to prove it. Another thing, your first live mic is huge. I mean, it's going to feel like you're losing your virginity. On mine, the host forgot my name, and I thought that was a bad sign. I almost ran out the back door and threw up. But then I remembered, wait, when I lost my real virginity, he didn't remember my name either. As I mentioned, I'm a mom, and not one of those moms that like in one breath I said, I can't stand my kids, it's so hard. And then the next one's like, I can't imagine my life without them. Because no, I fantasize about that all the time. I mean, I'm not complaining about being a mom. I'm just saying the sentence is a bit unfair. I mean, if you think about it, 7 years of bad luck for breaking a mirror is a bit extreme. Because you get 18 years for breaking a condom. It doesn't seem fair. I do almost feel guilty about everything that my husband did the other day for Mother's Day. It was wonderful until 3 a.m. This morning when my son started puking. And I tell my husband, I'm like, go get some towels. He's puking his guts out. And he's like, Mr. Obvious, like, that's not guts. That's watermelon and hot dogs. The worst part about parenting is kids' birthday parties. I hate them, and they're coming back again. I don't know if you guys know this, but they are. It was just some bullshit. But I feel like if one thing should have died with COVID, it should have been kids' birthday parties because they're like just a cesspool of germs. But what's really sucks about them, I don't know where you guys live, but where I live, they don't do gifts anymore. It's all a charity. And now it's become a competition on how virtuous your cause is. So it's like, my daughter Ava, she is saving to save the dolphins. And I'm like, okay. Oh, Zaki is going to save the whole ocean. I'm like, well, shit. My kids are born in November. Like, the only thing left to save then is the murder hornet. Tired of my kids getting screwed over. I shouldn't complain though, because I think the grass is greener on the other side. I have a lot of single friends now that everybody's getting vaccinated. They're going back in the dating scene and they're complaining. They're like, Robin, do you know, like all these guys on Tenders are just using us for sex. Wait until they're using it for laundry. Grass is greener on the other side, sweetie. I did buy a Peloton, and I'm going to tell you, it wasn't because I'm somewhere in between like not skinny and fat. It's actually because I wanted to know what it felt like to be in the Air Force. I always. I'm not saying that Air Force people have Pelotons. I'm saying that I just want to be part of a community that felt better than everybody else. The truth is my Peloton is really just like a $2,500 clothes rack. So desperate times calls for desperate measures. I've now duct taped my swimsuit to my refrigerator. The problem is that every time I go up to it, my swimsuit is like, okay, don't eat anything. But my sweatpants also talk, and they're like, nah, girl, you good. Zoom is only from the chest up, body. I have one last piece of advice for all of these comedians who did great tonight, but I'm going to have to tell you, filters can only do so much. In this line of work, Botox is a business expense. As you can see, I am not just obsessed about it for myself. I love it for other people too. I'm actually very fond of it for my husband. He has these very deep lines in his forehead. I'll admit, sometimes while I'm sleeping, well, while he's sleeping, I just lay next to him and I imagine jamming those needles of Botox into I hope you're not judging me because we've been married for 18 years and I'm not the only person trying to shove something into the other one while they're sleeping. I'm just saying. Thank you, everybody. Congratulations, graduates. Andy, I'm about to have a mommy cocktail.
Thanks, Robin. I want to have kids just so that Robin Johnson can talk shit about them. Everybody, we have one final student performer, one performer period left this evening. Also an Army vet. Getting tired of that, shouldn't. There's a lot of us. You should be happy that there are more of us taking comedy classes. Coming to the Zoom stage with the best background and the most excellent lighting of anybody in our lineup tonight, the one and only Fred Weigel.
Oh, well, thank you everyone for being here. And thank you, Andy, for the introduction. Thank you, ASAP, for the venue. This is outstanding. Appreciate it a lot. Yes, I was in the Army for 28 years. Yeah, I realized it wasn't for me. And Amber, you talked about the old BDUs. Well, when I came in, we had the Elvis lapels, the Elvis collars there that were so long that when the wind hit it, it would flip up and take your eye out. But my wife wouldn't let me put the pictures of those up on my Tinder account. So, and to top that off, the VA doesn't even allow disability for that either. You come in there with the eye missing because of the lapel, they're going to go ahead and kick you right out. So 28 years of people telling me what to do, where to go, and what to wear. Well, how do you like these luxurious locks, Drill Sergeant Little? Yeah, look at Lieutenant Colonel Fabio. He's flipping this magnificent mane masterfully. So, during my 28 years of service, I did get married and have some children. Some might say a lot of children. At last count, it was 11. But of course, I haven't seen my wife in a few hours, so who knows what's popped out. And Peggy, who is on the screen as our first student comedian today, she is one of 11 children, but not one of my 11. Just to be clear about all of that. And usually when we mention that we have a lot of children, the awkward and rude questions start coming up. Are you Catholic? Or are you Mormon? Or are you fill in the blank religious faith? No, we worship under the Church of the Broken Trojan, thank you very much. Are they all yours? Well, 8 of them are ours. The other 3 we found at the county fair, thought, hey, they have nice teeth, and we took them home with us. And then the best one of all, of course, is, do you know what causes that? Yes, we figured it out about the 5th child. Thank you. We thought, hey, do you want to stop doing this? I don't. No, no way. It's the only thing that fixes my migraines. Now she's out there all of the time trying to figure out ways to get me migraines. To be clear, though, they are all mine and my wife's children's, all single birth, because God knows we can only handle one at a time. And I delivered 5.5 of them. 5.5? What? How do you deliver half a child? Well, I'll tell you. It was one cold February afternoon on the way to the birth center with our 3rd child when my wife looked at me a little frantic. Pull over. Well, honey, don't worry. We're almost there. Just relax. My beautiful, loving angel turned to me, smiled, and said, pull over now. By the time I got to the side of the road and looked over, there was my son halfway out, like an upside down Punxsutawney Phil looking for his shadow. He didn't find it, of course, which was great because now we didn't have 6 more weeks of pregnancy. And we would have continued on to the birth center, but my wife hadn't delivered the placenta yet, and the umbilical cord wasn't quite long enough to reach the back where we had the infant seat. Interesting bit of trivia about the placenta. Some midwives recommend taking it home because it's healthy for the mother to eat. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's take it home, throw it in the freezer with all the other mystery labeled meats. And a couple of 2.5 months later, we'll find it in dinner because we forgot about it. Yes, with 11 children, meal times at the Weigels are always interesting. She touched me. He looked at me. Wait, it's my day to eat. Thank you very much, but I've got to get going before the children eat all the placenta helper.
Thanks, Fred. Let's keep it going for Fred Weigel. Let's give it up for all of our performers this evening. Good job, guys. Woo! So that's all the performers we have tonight. If you are interested in more performances or classes, please go to asapasap.org and check out our offerings there. Thanks for showing up, everybody. Another round of applause for our performers, please, as we head out the door.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for coming out and being part of our audience.